Hello, and welcome to Beyond the Deal, where we discuss business, entrepreneurship, and commercial real estate. My name is Lacey Labs, and I'm here with my co-host, Laura Martin, as well as special guest host, Karen Niederver, Senior Advisor at SBN Lattice. In today's episode, we interview Rick Trumper, Director of Construction for GCM, a commercial construction company here in Central PA. Rick has spent his career in commercial construction and knows the industry inside and out. Tune into this episode to hear more about Rick's journey, the construction and development experience that he shares, and what advice he would give to real estate developers and owners looking to build or remodel their properties. All right, Rick Trumper, welcome to Beyond the Deal. So glad you could join us this morning.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So please tell us just a little bit about yourself, your background, and kind of how you got into commercial construction.
Well, Rick Trumper is the husband to a great wife. I have 5 awesome children, 4 beautiful daughters, and I'm the pappy to 10 grandkids from the age 10 down to 4 months. Oh, so that's who Rick Trumper is. What Rick Trumper does is Rick Trumper is the Director of Construction for a mid-sized construction firm, GCM Incorporated out of Mount Joy. I guess the best way to look at it is my job at GCM as Director of Construction is to guide the PMs throughout the process. And since we have such a great diverse team, I don't have to do that as often as your average director would. Mm-hmm. So it leaves me to wear multiple hats. So I team up on business development with Jeremy Blount a lot because I'm a people person. Mm-hmm. I enjoy people. I enjoy learning about people. I enjoy learning who they are, what they do, and just basically what each individual brings to this world. Yeah. You know, everybody has a special story to tell, and I like to hear that story. Mm-hmm. You know,
So you're overseeing the project managers that are running the jobs in the field?
I do.
And you can be running multiple jobs in multiple states at one time?
We can, yes. Our primary states are Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. We do some work in Virginia. But we are also, for some of our larger clients, we are considered a national contractor. So we can be doing projects out in Mississippi, in Tennessee, Glendale, Arizona. Wherever our clients need us, we like to find a way to get there for them.
Mm-hmm. So. Do you actually send a crew from here? Or do you try to team up?
We don't. We are very big on utilizing locals, keeping the money within the communities. Mm-hmm. So we will send a project manager and a superintendent from here. So GCM has a couple of traveling superintendents. That's all they do. That's what they enjoy. We'll send them out to oversee other teams. Mm-hmm. But while we're in those areas, we'll find the local plumber, the local electrician, the local carpenter. Mm-hmm. Sometimes in some areas, when you're coming from outside the area, it's a struggle to find those that want to work with you. Mm-hmm. They don't have that relationship. So you have to build that relationship, which is something that we're normally really great at, is building those relationships and, getting our trade partners to trust that we're all there to make sure that we live by our motto of profitability for all. Mm-hmm. So we try to use locals as much as humanly possible, but sometimes we do get in a bind where we may have to depend on one of our locals here to travel out for us.
Yeah. I'm sure that's challenging. I mean, SVN has the national network, so we can call other agents in other states. So we've already kind of got a shoe-in since we're both under the same franchise. Mm-hmm. But I would think that would be fascinating because locally, sometimes I have a hard time finding a vendor or sub or for some little project. So it's just an interesting model.
Well, GCM is also part of the ABC. The Associated Builders and Contractors.
Okay.
And they're located in multiple different states. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we'll reach out to them being a member here and say, hey, listen, we're having a hard time finding A, B, or C. Mm-hmm. And can you help us out here?
That's nice.
And they'll provide us with not individuals, but a list of all of their members that are in that trade to, so we could reach out for assistance.
That's a great resource.
And having that relationship, we all work as a huge family throughout.
Yeah.
So, and that's how it should be in construction.
Yeah.
It shouldn't nearly be as competitive as it is today.
And you guys are non-union?
We are non-union.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. 100% non-union.
How old's the company?
GCM, I guess we opened our doors in 1991.
Wow.
So if we did the math right, it's 33 years now.
Wow.
And started off as a small little, contractor working out of a house. And then slowly grew into doing large franchise. And I guess most of our success comes from McDonald's, being one of the largest McDonald's contractors in the area, preferred. And then we caught on with the other QSRs. Burger Kings and Taco Bells, and now we're into all the newer ones. You got the Chick-fil-A's, the Raising Cane's, and so GCM does a variety of QSR because that's what we're great at.
That's cool.
We're great at restaurant work, QSR work, and then we do a lot of retail. So
and that's how you know Karen.
Yes, that's how I met
That's where
Karen.
I come in.
Retail has really picked up for GCM in the past 6 years. We've gotten some great retail customers, such as Tanger Outlets, which we will go nationwide for, and we do a lot of, vanilla boxes as well as fit outs. Fit outs for all of our, most of the clients and customers will say, hey, listen, you're already here. You know the space. Can you help us out? And we'll do fit outs for them as well.
That's great.
So,
So Rick, personally, how did you get started in construction and what kind of drew you into that work, gave you passion for it? You've been in it for a pretty long time, if I'm thinking back to our previous conversations correctly.
What drew me into it was a little odd. I had I got my driver's license in 1992. 17 years old. I can remember it was March 16th or something like that. 5 days after my birthday, the excitement of getting your license, My father had an acquaintance who did ironwork, who had lost his driver's license for 6 months. Why? I still don't know. Okay. Didn't care, but he needed a driver. So I'd go to school during the day. And then I'd leave from school and go pick up his rack body truck and grab him. And I'd bring him into North Jersey or New York City. And he'd go on the job site and do his welding, whatever else he had to do, while I sat in the truck and did my homework and slept for the next day because he was working from 6 p.m. till 2 a.m. Wow. By the time we got back, an hour and a half ride, 3:30. If you weren't sleeping, I'd be in trouble with my grades. Yeah. So after doing that for a little while, I wasn't allowed on the job site because I wasn't 18, and a lot of them were union-affiliated job sites, so there's no way you're getting on. Yep. That summer, when I got out of school, I started working more full-time with him, and I was permitted on other job sites to get on there and sweep, pick up some material. I just wasn't allowed to touch the welders, but I can drill and tap, and the more I learned, the more intrigued I became. And then I was on one job site where we were setting steel. And to see a building go up, nothing against residential. I love residential work. I think it really takes a craftsman. But to see steel and concrete go up the way that it was, and the danger of what it really was to make these buildings happen in New York and North Jersey was really... that's what intrigued me, and it created a passion as I learned more how to weld, how to put these buildings up, how to form in projects. I just became more and more driven. So I was 17 years old when I got into this business, is what I tell everybody, because I basically was. That hour and a half ride to and from, he would talk nonstop. And just, this is what I'm doing. This is what I did. This is how this happened. Be careful when you're doing this. You see this burn? This is how this happened. I mean, so I was always learning. And that's something I can contribute a lot, or I guess say that he really brought a lot to my childhood and entering adult world, where learning every day seemed to be the right thing, as I learn more, and still today, it just creates my passion. Commercial work is definitely my passion and has been for the past, I guess math is 31 years now or so, 31, 32, 31 or 32 years. It's been a long time.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in New Jersey.
New Jersey. How'd you get here?
Central Jersey. In, I guess, 2003, things weren't going as they were me growing up in New Jersey. Things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
The area, the safety, all of that. We come from a small little beach town, and it wasn't the same old beach town. You weren't getting anybody visiting. People started to become a little afraid to come to the town, and town surrounding it. So my wife said, "Hey, I don't think this is where we want to have our kids going to school and be raised. It's not like it used to be." So we moved into Pennsylvania in 2000, I guess 3 or 4 is when we came here, and then we moved way out on the other side of Pennsylvania into a little town called Hartleton. It had like 90 people in the town. And then we didn't want to travel so far. My wife didn't like the idea of packing a lunch just to go grocery shopping because everything was so far away. So we moved more into the Harrisburg, Mechanicsburg area.
Wow.
And then,
So that's where you live now? You're right in this area?
Well, I'm in Newville now.
Okay, so you like,
because all
you
of our
like to
kids,
move.
all of our kids are out of school, so we no longer have to be in the suburbs.
Yeah.
So
You like to be out a little
we
bit.
love property. We love to be able to have property and look out and see a field and a mountain and not the neighbor.
Yeah.
So where we do love it here, we are really enjoying our time in Newville.
That's close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That was a big decision.
it was a big decision.
Sounds like the right one, though.
Yes. Yeah. It's beautiful. Beautiful there.
So I know we've touched on it a little bit already, but for our listeners, if you could get into a little bit more of like, what is your job is managing PMs and doing relationships. What does your day-to-day look like? Like, what are some of the key functions of Director of Construction for GCM?
Some of the key functions are, like we had said, it's just making sure I share this Director of Construction position with the owner, Stephen Blount. He is a guru when it comes to restaurants. So he will be the Director of Construction over a lot of the restaurant projects. I'll take his overflow, but I'm more involved in the retail, and I'm involved in the office space. So my job and what my responsibilities are is to wake up 50% of the time, jump on a plane, head to a different state somewhere, look at other projects, make sure projects are set up, make sure they're going to happen. Make sure that estimating is complete, that the estimating is done right, review numbers, sit down with the PMs, make sure that their scheduling is going. Once we get their project started, they're really self-sufficient. So, like I said, that allows me to go do other things, like just meeting new clients, meeting new people, maybe getting a new trade partner on. We use the word trade partner. A lot of you guys, or a lot of people like to use the word subcontractor. GCM does not believe in subcontractors. Subcontractors, the word sub means underneath. And nobody's underneath us because a project cannot be completed if we're standing on you. So if we all stand side by side, that's where success comes from. So as a Director of Construction, I like to just be sure that the model of success is that people matter at all times. That's one thing that I've learned when I started with GCM in 2012. When I came in here originally coming from big, heavy-duty construction. People didn't matter. People were expendable. After being here for so many years, you started to learn that people really do matter. And Stephen and Jeremy Blount really hit that home, when that comes. So my responsibilities, my day-to-day, is just making sure that the clock is still ticking. People are still going to work every day. And that GCM has work coming in, and that it's being done right within budget and always with the GCM quality. So
I think you're really good at taking those like spontaneous calls from, an agent like myself and saying, I know it's Friday, but can you get me a quote for a build out by next Friday? So I do that to Rick all the time. And I will say, he jumps into it. Never does he go, oh my goodness, what are you doing? He's like, okay, I'll get it taken care of and get it set up. I'll have Javier or someone's going to reach out to you, and he gets it done. And that's why I keep making those calls.
I had seen a movie years ago with Gene Hackman in it. It's The Replacements, and it's an old football movie. And he says one day to the quarterback, he says, it's like a duck on the pond. Up top, everything seems calm, but below, those feet are running 100 miles an hour to stay above. So when we receive those calls, we gladly do them because we know it's needed. But below the surface, we are moving 100 miles an hour to make sure that Karen gets what she needs, SVN gets what they need, and that our client is getting the respect and the quality that they deserve. So it's not always easy to do that in 7 to 10 days, but we will continue to do it because relationships mean everything.
Yeah.
Have you got to the point where you can look at one of her retail shelves and know kind of, depending what the use is, do you have like numbers that you can just apply, or is it just not that simple?
We do historic numbers.
Thumb.
We do historic numbers. Okay, we've done something about this big and maybe another center. Or, we were over in that one and that one didn't work out, but it was this size, so we know already. So there's a couple of times, there's a couple of cases where, no, there's no way we can give you a number on that because it's such a drastic change.
Yeah.
Or the LOI came in and it's like, well, or this landlord letter is totally different than what we, there are times when we could just go, yeah, here's your budget number.
A ballpark.
I can give you a ballpark budget that you'll fall within 10% high or low. But there's other times where we're like, okay, listen, we got to get in there because this landlord letter is calling out that either an HVAC can't be more than 7 years old or, this is your responsibility and not the tenant. It's like, well, that's a new responsibility for you. So, we've got to make sure that. And that's where we try to work with the tenant as well as yourself. Because when we come in and do a vanilla box, we charge you for a vanilla box. Then the tenant comes in, and if we're going to do something for the tenant, we're almost cutting up everything that we charged you for. So we're able to work consistently with the two of you. Then we can go ahead and go, well, this is a vanilla box. It's going to cost you less money because you're not going to pay me to cut this up. It's going to cost you less money because I'm not going to put it together before I cut it up.
Yeah.
So it really is a win-win. So we try to, people are like, oh, that's a good, sales pitch. But no, it's actually a win-win for you guys.
Yeah.
Because I get paid twice.
If you could pull
You know what I mean? So I would hope that I did yours and then went to them. But for everybody to win, it's got to work in sync. And that's the way to do it. It's just to give me your drawings. Now let's put these things together. This is your fee. This is your fee. Let's make it happen. And it goes about 30% quicker as well.
Wow.
So.
And I'm really surprised too. The drawings are huge. It's amazing how, they need drawings, and a lot of times there are none. And they still, Rick's able to still get me a quote and still get the job done. How they do it, I have no idea. But it's a lot of times where there is just no drawings available, and we've got 2 days to get a quote in. So there's no time to get a drawing done. So they make it work.
It's good. It's needed. Yeah. I have a question. I get asked all the time, and I have my own answer. But you see Sheetz is level to the ground. You think they're going out of business. You see McDonald's level to the ground. The Chick-fil-A closes every couple of years. So the franchise or puts on the franchisee certain requirements of how often you have to update, completely renovate.
They do. This is a tough one for us because there's times where the franchisor will also be the one to pay for a portion of the demo or the rebuild. They have certain time frames. And sometimes when maybe a style is not working, or maybe their idea maybe it wasn't the best idea, and they change up, it falls on the franchisee to follow suit. but they have a certain amount of years to make that happen. Some of them lately have been in such competition, they've been changing more frequently. Like, oh, I did this. Well, I did this. Well, I did this. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Bucks. We know a franchisee who, the franchisor, they're tough. They're always dictating what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It's crazy.
It is. And some of them are tough. And the reason why they're so tough is because they don't lean on their contractor. If people would lean on their contractor and say, hey, listen, this is what I'm looking for. You hired us for a reason. Whether it be your GC or your construction management team, because we do both. We don't have to build it. We can babysit your builder to make sure it's being done right. Probably should never use the term babysit.
That's okay. We'll edit that out.
We can watch, we can watch over the project for you. And that is just to make sure that it's staying within budget.
Yeah.
Staying within schedule.
Yep.
And change orders don't get out of control, because a lot of time change orders can really dictate, what's happening. So when your GC comes in and tells you, hey, listen, this is what I see is coming down the pipeline, during the bid process, listen to him. He sees it. 85% of the time, you're going to get it. You're going to get it, no doubt. So trust the person that you hired. And if you can't, you hired the wrong person.
Yeah.
So do you guys do your design? Sounds like you're saying you do design and build.
Okay.
And what do you have in-house design? Like, how does that? Okay.
No, we get involved. We dabble with design build.
Okay.
We're very good at it, but we don't have an in-house team.
Okay.
So we partner with local partners,
Yep.
local architects, engineers,
Yep.
and we bring everybody to the table for a design build. We'll bring the electrician, we'll bring the plumber, we'll bring everybody's ideas to the table, and we'll work with the client's budget. So design build to us is you as a client know what you want. You know what you need. We know what can actually happen.
Yeah.
With that budget.
Yeah.
So to get as close to your budget as possible, we will bring all the players to the table and say, okay, how are we going to value engineer this project? How are we going to give them all that they need within this budget and still fit some of your wants? So I'm a big fan of saying, make yourself two lists at all times: your wants and your needs. Your needs are going to come first.
Yeah.
We got to open those doors. And as you start to make money, then we can start to change a couple of things. But if we can give you 30% of your wants in the same budget because you trusted us, then, we will do so. But the problem is everybody likes to go competitively bidding.
Yeah.
You're not getting the right numbers. You're not getting, people are coming in low just to win the project.
Yeah.
And then the almighty change order comes in. I'd rather lose it than have to come in and change order you guys to death. So I prefer to just say, I'm sorry, I'm not the right one for you. Or there's no way I could touch that number. And then sometimes I even walk out, saying, and there's no way they could touch that number. You know what I mean? You don't want to be the guy to say that. Every company out there brings something great to the table. We are QSR and retail office space. That's what we are. We're not residential. We're not medical facilities. We're not hotels. Can we go in and do it? Yes. Is it our specialty? No. Will it be one day? Maybe.
Yeah.
So.
So is that normal in the process? I mean, I haven't sat down in a construction room and been part of that process to bring your electrician and plumber and everybody to the design meeting and have them be part of the conversation? If you are
negotiating a project, yes.
Okay.
That's a normal process because I know construction. I'm not a plumber. That's why I hire them. I'm not an electrician. So when you say, I need this service or I need this knockdown or well, who better to ask than the guy that's going to install it to say, hey, what else do we have to offer here?
Yeah.
How can we do this without replacing this entire existing service?
Yep.
Can we bring something else in here? And they're the ones that tell you, because I'm just going to follow the drawings. So if you give me a set of drawings, I'm following the drawings.
Right.
And it might not be the best. It might not be the best, option for you.
Yeah.
The cost might be way out of control.
Yeah.
When there were other options, but when you're bidding competitively, you gotta keep it apples for apples. If I give you a better idea, then, it gets thrown out of whack and somehow you lose the job because someone doesn't understand it,
Right.
So
Until it's too late.
yeah, until it's too late. So it's really about trust. Trust in your contractor, trust in your construction management team. That's how I've always looked at it. So
Good point.
That's a good lead into our next question, which is what are kind of the biggest factors that are critical to success in a construction from start to finish? And then along with that, what are some of the biggest obstacles that you guys face in that process?
Okay. I've always found that the biggest obstacles for success are 100% trust. I tell every one of our clients, if you don't trust me from day one when I step in and talk to you, this project will never be successful. Because if you've got to babysit me, then we're never going to be able to succeed. It's the same way with us. If I don't trust you from the day I walk in, I don't go any further because you cannot succeed without trust. A job, it's a partnership. Would you start a partnership with somebody you don't trust? Doing a project and hiring a contractor is the same exact thing as a partnership. Some of our biggest struggles are sometimes our clients. Our clients, their inability to make decisions, their inability to trust your decision. Hey, this is what we ran into. This is what we think's best. I know it costs a little bit more, but in the long run, it's what's right. And you're not going to pay dollars to fix it later.
Yeah.
And most people today think about the almighty dollar a little bit more than the almighty clock. You can do it dirt cheap today, but you're going to do it dirt cheap tomorrow again, and then dirt cheap a week later. Maybe you just spend a little bit more today, you might not touch it for 5 years. Right. So everything really revolves around trusting your contractor, trusting the decision that you made. Because when you're doing a project of any caliber, it's something you saved for. It's something that is going to cost you until you start making money, right out of the gate. So you want to make sure the person that you're doing it with has your best interest at heart and not, and your pocket is part of that interest, So, I know it sounds cliche, but the word trust has to be at all times first and foremost. So
yeah, makes a ton of sense. It sounds like you guys put quality of the experience for your client and your end result of your project above a lot of other things.
We do. Yeah. We do. We put it above winning the project.
Yeah.
If we're not the right fit for you, regardless how big or how much money we can make, we prefer to walk away because it's dangerous. It's dangerous. The internet is a nasty animal today. You know what I mean? And you just, it doesn't take much for someone to be upset and it to be whipping through the internet pretty quickly. So, we want to make sure that at all times you understand what you're getting, who you're getting, how you're getting it, and how long it's going to take you to get it, and how much, of course, it's going to cost you. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Love the transparency. That's great. So we know that commercial construction today it's got a lot of steps, got a lot of layers, had a lot of changes in the past 4 years in particular.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the most common issues that pop up in the process? So you're in it, you've got your clients, you've established that trust, you've gone down that road, you're in process. What things come up? How do you guys overcome them? How do you overcome rising costs and building? You go from estimate to doing the work and concrete's doubled in price. What does it look like to be a client with you guys navigating that kind of stuff?
At times we'll do what we like to call a cost plus. That allows us to navigate a little easier the cost hikes When you write a proposal today, it's only good for 30 days. It used to be good for 6 months. 6 months, you don't have to worry about anything changing.
Yeah.
Right.
Now it's 30 days. I mean, some people have it 15
Wow.
because, it could be February 27th and March 2nd, there could be a price hike
Yeah.
on HVAC.
Yep.
That might be a 10% jump. Well, if you're looking at, a $50,000 unit, 10% is a big jump. It's a big number when you might have 5 or 6 of those 50-ton units. You know what I mean? So there's the struggles or the biggest obstacles today for construction that we have found are jobs pushing. So it's supposed to start tomorrow. Permitting, townships are still not manning as much as they should when it comes to working in the office and reviewing permits and having to wait 30 days. And sometimes you can turn that in, and the 27th day you're calling, they're going, oh, we're looking at it today. You know what I mean? And then 30 days they send us back a review, and they have questions or red marks, red lines.
Yeah.
Now you got to send them back answers. Now they're allowed another 30 days. You know what I mean? So if you need to buy time, you just write just put one red line on the drawing and send it to me at the 30th day, and now you get 30 more.
Yeah.
And we are running into that on one project now, where we were supposed to start. Well, our clients, they don't want to push their finish date. They have grand openings set up, or they have employees that are already coming. They have equipment that maybe they were waiting on that took 6 months, that they ordered 6-7 months ago. That's coming in. They need a home for that equipment. Now they got to pay to put it in storage. So lead times, permits being approved, and the cost increases that happen throughout the project. If you don't do your buyout quick enough, and the price goes up, that's not a contractor's fault. It's not the owner's fault. You didn't do your buyout. I know some contractors would probably hate me for saying that, but it's the truth. If you don't do your buyout in a timely fashion, the price goes up. That's on you now. So when you go back as a change order and say, well, this costs more than I thought, well, sometimes the client doesn't know to go, well, when did you order that? You know what I mean? We signed this contract 2 months ago. So, it's one of those things where if you can't be transparent from the start, and be honest with each other, then you're right back to that whole trust word, So those are your struggles in construction, basically today.
Seems like it's hurry up to get the price, and then it's often you have to wait.
It is.
Like signing leases can take months. And the one new thing I saw last week in one of the leases I was reviewing is the tenants putting in for the construction work every day it's late is $1,000 fine. I'm like, that's pretty hefty. So.
Yes. We've run into those. We negotiate those.
Yeah. And this was tenant to owner. It wasn't the contractor.
Well, we've always, being the contractor, it normally gets passed on. So if you have that, you're normally trying to pass it on to the contractor to put it on him or her. But we negotiate that immediately. In today's world, there is no such thing as liquidated damages.
Yeah.
No such thing whatsoever. I mean, I can have HVAC sitting on the line waiting to come off. It's my order next, and somebody pays more money and they bump my order, and they just say the line went down for a day,
Right.
And that's the answers. It's always something breaks, and next thing you know, it's going to take you an extra 2 weeks to get your product. So yeah, it is. It's a little. I guess I hate using the word hairy, but it's a hairy situation when you think about, the tenant wants to get in, they want to start, making money. They've already signed your agreement, but they never take into consideration how long it took them to sign your agreement.
Right.
You got numbers from me 9 months ago,
Right.
and then you come back and you're like, well, Rick, you said this. Well, yeah, but I said that 9 months ago.
Right.
And you need to understand. So working with people like yourselves who understand that it's just not 2018 anymore. Things are different.
Any level.
Things are different.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and just the cost of construction is just
Astronomical.
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It is very hard for a company like GCM, for Stephen Blount and Jeremy Blount, to pass on those costs. When we look at them, we sit down. A lot of companies will call it a war room, where you sit down and you start to discuss all of your projects and the cost of the projects. And we sit down and we're like, well, why? Why? If we can't give ourselves an answer, how do we expect to give you an answer? So we have to look at these, and then we've got to pass these on. And there's no way. I mean, I can tell you numerous times where we have lessened our percentage for profit just because we couldn't justify, the cost. I mean, even though our even though our trade partner gives us a number, and they say, Rick, this is what happened, it's so hard to pass that on and to say, well, this is what happened and I can't pay for it. So we try to lessen the impact at GCM. It all comes down to relations. And if we could help lessen the impact a little bit here, then you'll tell somebody else that, hey, they did us right.
Yeah, they took care of it.
So at the end, we want to know that we took care of you. Yeah, it's a great way to put it. We want to know we took care of you. So.
Yeah.
I think with renovation work, there's always hidden things you just can't possibly know about.
The word on
As you're finding at your house.
You open them all and you uncover stuff you didn't know was there. Yeah.
Whereas new construction, I think it's a little more cut and dry and easier to estimate, I would think.
Yeah, the only issue you have is what's below surface.
Right.
And if you had the right geotech done and the right borings done, you should have your answers. So new construction, yes, it should be when I give you a contract, that should be the contract.
Yeah.
There shouldn't really be much room for change orders. The only change order should be if you change your mind.
Yeah.
And that's
something.
fair.
Then that's fair.
Yeah.
But for me to come back and say, well, this cost, I didn't see this. I didn't catch this. If it's on the drawing, it's my fault. If it wasn't on the drawing and you supplied the drawing, now it's your fault. You know what I mean? Now you missed it, not me.
Yeah.
I can't add something. We hope to catch it when we're doing our reviews of your plans, but we don't always catch everything.
That's a lot.
We
It's
don't
a lot
always
of
catch
information
everything.
on plans.
But the unforeseen it's a nasty word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go, it's unforeseen. I
Yeah.
no idea. I don't have X-ray vision. I can't see through your wall.
Right.
If you threw a contingency on something, I don't know, what do they use these days, 5% or 10%? Is it usually cover most things, or is it just hard to say?
It's hard to say. A 10% contingency normally covers a large portion of what you might run into. Some people like to say 13 to 15 covers everything. I think that's a high number, but you're being very conservative. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, I just need to make sure that, I have it in there if it comes to it. Because a lot of people are only getting, a loan with a small, the banks carry a contingency, just in case something goes wrong, but you got to be approved for it beforehand. So they only have a small amount to work with, when it comes to contingency. So, we put a contingency in, but we make you aware of what that contingency is, and then it's your choice to say, I want you to remove that. I'll carry that contingency. There's ways to do it. You can have your contractor carry it, and then you do more of a shared at the end. Hey, we didn't use this, but this is why we didn't use it, because we did this, this, and this. And sometimes you could do a 60-40 or a 70-30 with your contractor, just shared savings. But contingencies are best to carry. A lot of people don't like carrying them right now because of how high the numbers have gone. I can't put another 10% on top of that number. The bank will never accept it.
Yeah. Right.
But if you run into a problem, so you need to be purchasing buildings and renting spaces that are a little more wide open. So that way you can see the issues. You don't want to buy something that's 100 years old and think that you're just going to come in and renovate this. We're going to throw some walls in and we're good. And then the city rolls in and goes, you're changing everything.
Yeah.
So you just got to be careful when you're purchasing or
Ask questions.
I had found that you guys are best at filling your client in on as much as they need. Sometimes maybe too much.
Yeah.
To make them go, you know what?
scare
This is
them
probably
away.
not the best. This is probably not the best, but it was the best for you though, because you had to deal with it later on, so you didn't go, feeling like you took somebody,
Right.
just to sign a contract.
Yep. 15,000 square feet isn't going to work for you. We're going to have to, let's try 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice saying it right, but you say it right from the start.
Yeah.
I've watched Karen say it. Are you sure? This is a big space here, and then I have said it with her. Like, this is a big space for what you're looking for. I don't think you need this space, and it's being upfront. And then sometimes they don't listen to us, and they come back to us and they say, that space is a little big.
Yep.
We're going to need to shrink down.
Numbers. Yeah.
Well, I would think nationally too. I mean, I've noticed it within real estate how different like Pennsylvania commercial real estate is from Texas commercial real estate. I had a client buying an investment property there. The rules are different, so I would think too. You're going to have different laws, but and different costs. I mean, I think our area is still pretty. People can afford it still affordable.
It is.
Compared to you look at other places, it's like, oh my goodness.
I have found Central PA to be very self-sufficient. Things start happening when it comes to the, when we go, oh, there's no budget again. We don't seem to worry as much because everybody takes care of each other here. I have found that when prices are skyrocketing and they start threatening recession, PA seems to really roll through it. Like, hey, that's okay. We're going to buckle up tight and we're going to use the locals like we're supposed to. And then the nationwide recession doesn't hurt you when you're able to have those partnerships. And I mean, we were still building when nobody else was. People still kept going because they knew it.
Credited kind of our stable economy to the capital being here because it provides jobs, and then you need the businesses to take care of the people that are living here. But I feel like we don't see the highs and lows that other places might see.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true, and I'm thankful for it. As a construction company, when things start to go, and you have the economists going, it's going to be rocky. You can sit back and be like, it's just a wave.
Yeah,
we're okay.
Get it out. Yeah. Yeah. So we are going to ask 2 questions for you to wrap it up here.
Okay.
We're actually almost done. Can you believe it? So what advice would you give to business owners or investors who are looking to do a construction project on their property? What are the biggest things you would say to someone up front before they even start the process? Here's some keys to success.
Well, keys to success in construction is find the right GC. It's not a plug for GCM. It's find the right GC. Find someone you can trust. Understand it's going to be a partnership. Understand that your GC matters. Not everybody is going to give you all the same answers. And you're going to feel as if, somebody is always trying to take you, in today's world. We like to use the phrase trust yet verify. People bid out because they're trying to keep the next man honest. But if you trust yet verify, trust your GC. When he comes in and he says it's going to cost this much, ask questions. Why is it going to cost that much? Can you show me? Explain it to me. Ask a lot of questions. Don't just get numbers and say, well, you're the best number, so I'm going to have you move forward, because the best number is not always the best contractor. So if I had to give any advice, it's just to ask questions. Be part of your project. We carry a slogan on all of our emails, and on our truck it says construction. It's what we do, because it's what we do. You're going to build an office building, or you're going to pay to build a home, or you're going to renovate, a restaurant. It's not what you do. You're going to run that restaurant, and you're going to run it well. I'm going to build that restaurant. It's what I do. You know, so when I say it's what I do, let me do what I do. Let your contractor do what they do. We also say built right with you for your customers. So we will build it right. We want to build it with you throughout the process. You need to learn throughout the process, because if it's not your last one, you don't always want your last one to be like your first one. You want to have the answers. Learn throughout the process. Ask questions all the time. And it'll be successful. It'll be successful. Don't step away and just be like, just tell me when you're done. Because then you will have that 10 projects later, you'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my advice.
Good advice, Rick. Appreciate that. All right, our final question, we ask everybody the exact same one, is if you could go back and start your career over, but keep all the knowledge and experience you have and get to start over with that knowledge and experience, what would you do differently?
That's a good one. I don't know if I change anything. I like the struggles that I went through. I like the trials, the tribulations. I've enjoyed this journey. If I knew everything that I know today, I think I would have loved to be more involved with teaching the youth how important it is for construction. Because in the beginning, if you don't have a passion for it, if it's all about the almighty dollar, then it's not gonna, you're just not gonna continue, and construction's eventually gonna die. If you think about it. So I would have loved to have been able to teach and share my knowledge that I have today. Starting at my age, sharing today, moving forward, I'm still young enough. Just so everybody knows, 10 grandkids doesn't make me old. But I do believe that if I had to change anything, I would love to be able to teach.
That's really
Teach,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, love it. I hope you get to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool.
Okay.
You're a
Thank
great
you.
teacher.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you so much, Rick.
Thank
It
you
was
all for
really
having me.
great to have
Thanks
you.
for coming in.
Yeah.
thanks for trusting GCM.
Yeah, absolutely. That was Rick Trumper sharing his insights on commercial construction and development in Central PA. For more information on Rick, GCM, or to learn more about SV and Lattice, click the links in the show notes. Thanks for listening to Beyond the Deal.